teachers, postgraduate teachers, new teachers in the field, and you're teaching in primary schools, hello 4 and 5, and our subject today is effectiveness of pairware. Okay, so you are going to act as new or novice teachers. Can you give me the names, please?
My name is Haris. Ahmed.
Mine.
All right. Thank you. So, our subject today will be effectiveness of pairware. Okay. Right. So we're here to share some experiences, and we're going to from the questionnaire you did for me last week. I know that some of you could apply pairware in their teaching, hello 4 and 5, and some people couldn't for many reasons. By the end of this workshop, where we're going to cover these areas, we're going to find out what pairware is, and why do we want to use it, and how can we use it, and when it would be a good idea to use it in the class. So we're going to start with the first activity here. Before we start the first activity, I'd like you to get in pairs. So you're going to work with Hassan. Yeah. You're going to work together. And you're going, can you just get closer? Yes. Dr. Ali, can you join them? Yes. In this case, you will have 3 people, not pair.
Okay.
You have to distribute.
Okay.
All right. So now, to find out about the effectiveness of pairware, we're going to put ourselves into the situation, or nearly the same situation as our students in the class. We're going to play the role of new learners for a new language. So today, this morning, I'm going to teach you some Spanish, right? Okay. Have a look at this. These are 2 Spanish. Okay. Spanish guy met this guy, met the other guy, this one here, and it was early in the morning, and he said, Buenos dias. What do you think Buenos dias means?
Good day.
Good morning. Good morning. Excellent. Very good. So we have Buenos dias. Good morning. And then the other one said Buenos dias, of course. And then he said, ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? Well, you know. What's your name? Excellent. Excellent. ¿Cómo se llama? What's your name? Okay? ¿Cómo se llama? Means, what's your name? Excellent. Very good. And then this guy said, Me llamo Javiru. Okay? Javiru ده جعفر يعني بالاسباني. Alright? He said, Me llamo Jack or whatever. Alright. So, let's go now. You're, for example, in the 4th primary, you don't need the writing, right? We're just going to try to learn this little piece, or this short conversation without the writing. just orally.
So could you put it up again because I've got it on here?
Right, we're going to start the drillings.
Okay.
So, the conversation again. The first guy said, here, Boyens dies. Boyens dies. Boyens dies. Alright, just listen, do not repeat. You don't have to repeat at this stage. Just pay attention to the pronunciation. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Javiro. Me llamo Jack. Me llamo Ali. Okay? So let's go again. Boyens dies. Boyens dies. ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Jack, for example. Now, who can play the other role with me? Who can share me the conversation? I will help you. Thank you, Harris. Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Harris.
Excellent. Very good. Anyone here? Boyens dies. ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Sally. Excellent. Very good. Excellent. You can play it?
Okay.
Alright? Ata will share you now. Go ahead.
Boyens dies.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Sa'ata.
Excellent. Very good. Hassan, can you ask Iman? Boyens dies.
Boyens dies. Look at me.
Okay, she's tired. Go with Ahmed.
Yes.
¿Cómo se llama?
Se llama
Me llamo.
Me llamo
Me llamo Ahmed. Alright. Would you like me to say the conversation again?
No, but what do the words mean?
The words?
Yeah.
It's just good morning. What's your name? My name. We don't want to go into the details. Right? Boyens dies. ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo Jack or Ali, whatever. Okay. Let's hear it again. Can you say conversation, Mr. Ali?
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo.
Me llamo Sally.
Alright. Okay, I think before we go into the practice, I think there is some people who are not controlling the conversation. So you can repeat after me, okay? Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
Boyens dies.
¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Jack.
Me llamo Harris.
Me llamo Harris. Okay. Now you sit down here, please. We're going forward with it, right? Okay. Now, Harris, can you ask Ahmed?
Buenos dies.
Buenos Aires.
¿Cómo?
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Ahmed.
Very good. Excellent. Now, Sam.
Iman.
Right.
Boyens dies.
Buenos días.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Usman.
Very good. Excellent. Now, you're going to work in pairs and you're going to practice, okay? You're going to practice this short dialogue, all right? And I'm going to see if you're, try to help your elbow body, okay? Try to help him. No, we don't start like this, Harris, please. We're going to have a signal for start, and then we're going to have another signal like this to stop. Okay, so you have to stop where you are. Okay? When you hear the signal, you're going to go ahead, practice. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Just go ahead.
Boyens dies.
Buenos días.
Boyens dies. Me llamo Boyens dies. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? Buenos dias.
Me llamo
¿Cómo se llama?
Go on, friends. Don't stop.
Buenos Aires. ¿Cómo se llama?
Very good. Excellent.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. ¿Cómo se llama?
Buenos Aires.
That's right.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Sam.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. ¿Cómo se llama?
Now ask it. ¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama?
Buenos Aires.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. I have seen very good players like Adan. Can you just give us a little more practice? We want to hear what we're practicing.
Buenos Aires. ¿Cómo se llama?
Excellent. That's very good. And another pair.
Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires.
¿Cómo se llama?
Me llamo Sam. Me llamo Sam.
Excellent. That's very good. Now, normally we don't do this into the class or into your classroom. And from the questionnaire, I found that the reasons behind not doing this, that we have large numbers in the class, and we have other reasons. So we like now together to go to this part, which is we want to sum up the idea of pair work. What is pair work? This little job we have written, yes?
To have two people working together.
Two people working together to practice certain structure or certain dialogue or conversation. That's very good. And why do we need this kind of activity, pair work? Why do we need pair work? Yes, please.
In such exercise like that we have done, it allows for more practice. If you dedicate 4 or 3 minutes in the class, there will be more practice allowed for the students than if you just ask every two to speak aloud to the whole class.
That's very good. Excellent. So let's emphasize this. Why? I gave you a couple of minutes, maybe less. How many times did you repeat the conversation in these 2 minutes? How many times? Can you give me an example?
About 3 or 4.
3,
Yeah.
4, sometimes 3 times, 4 times, 3 to 4. Let's take 3, okay? So we have 3 times. Each one practiced the conversation 3 times. Let's compare this with the usual public pair which we use in our classes. Like for example, I would say, Ata, can you say the conversation with Ahmed, for example? So, and we're going to calculate the time for this conversation. Okay? So they will take, say, half a minute. And we have a class of 20 students, or let's say 40, so we have 20 multiplied by half minute, so we have 10 minutes. So in public fair, if we do it like this old way, public fair, we need 10 minutes for each student to have or to practice the conversation only for once. Remember this. But when we conduct pair work, each person was able to do it 3 times in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we have the time, the total time, 2 minutes, and the effectiveness of the pair work is very obvious this way. Okay? Thank you. For any other reasons why? Why do we use pair work? Thank you for this point. It's the most important point, which is the time. It saves the teacher's time. It gives more phase to practice. That's very good. Excellent. Any other reasons you have discovered right now from?
More important. For example, I wasn't really willing to practice Spanish, but now that I've gotten
You were involved.
or I had to.
Very good. So we have here why saving time. This calculation saves time. Don't worry. Don't try to write anything because I have handouts for you at the end of this session. You're going to receive your handout. Save time. More involvement. That's very good. Excellent. Any other ideas?
Reinforcing the annually presented item.
Very good. To reinforce what we have just presented. Very good.
Well, it allows peer teaching.
Peer teaching. Excellent. We help each other. And this is sort of the real learning in the class. You don't have to teach each student at a time. Students can learn from each other. So you have to give a chance to that kind of learning because it's very effective. And what else?
It increases the students' motivation because it makes the lesson more enjoyable.
Very good. Increases motivation. Another thing?
I think it's good for large classes because it would give them a chance to practice.
Very good.
Maybe in
Excellent.
a small class you can spend 5 minutes and they
That's
will all
right.
get a chance. Maybe not the same, not as much as in field work, but also in large classes you wouldn't get enough time to make all the students practice. So this is one way. And you're only dividing them into pairs, and it's not in groups. And even if the space, if it's not easy for them to move or such a thing, they can do it just while they're sitting.
That's right. Thank you very much. What about the shy students? Do you think this is a good technique for them?
Yes, it gives them space
Yes,
to talk.
that's right. Shy student, because if Hussein is shy and he's some sort of a bashful student, he can say stand up, say the dialogue, and then he'll say blah, 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 blah. It's difficult for him. Okay, but with Haris, he's got a lot of
Energy.
confidence. Excellent. Confidence. He's confident because of the risk. This is low risk environment. Okay, low risk environment. Let's move to the how. How do we conduct it?
You divide
Very
people
simple.
into
Divide
pairs
people into
and
pairs.
pairs or thrice, and you get them involved together. It's always advisable to make it by you have to keep the seating in mind. Since it's a small room, that's why you ask some from this side to talk to this one, the other side. But
Very good. What else in the procedure? Divide students and then let go.
You told us what to do.
Yes.
And you monitor
Clear instructor.
And you
teacher
monitor
That's
yeah.
very good. The teacher's role.
Yeah.
He can go check, correct mistakes if possible, encourage people. He can choose certain corners in the class. You give them more time if needed. All right. And what else in the procedure? Try to remember. Okay. The signal. All right. Okay. When do we use this? When do we use this technique? In the practice area. Okay. There is the last thing, the application. I want you to open your box, the Hello 5, and find a conversation for me and try to conduct a lesson plan right now. 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes, lesson plan, try to implement the pair work. Okay? I'll give you 5 minutes. Thank you, Ron. I'm done.
Great. Excellent.
Thank you.
Java, just to give us some of your reflection, how did you feel about the presentation in terms of the things that you were trying to accomplish?
You want me to reflect
Yeah,
about
just
it?
reflect a little bit about what you thought of the presentation.
Well, I thought I wasn't very nervous because I know when there is something new, you have the people automatically turned in, and the activity itself is it's got some sort of power inside it. You know, the involvement aspect. Even if I have some of the colleagues who's relaxed or too relaxed, he's not going to share, but he found himself involved. Even the tired students or the students with problems, the upset students. I discovered, or I found out that she was involved right away when the activity went on, and I'm really happy about the results. I think I got the point to convince my teachers that this is effective, really effective. But you have to organize it. You have to go step by step. You have to know what you're doing, and you'll do it. It's very easy.
Great. So if the rest of you would complete your feedback sheets, and let's give Jabba some feedback.
All right.
Give him some of our feedback.
Can we start?
Yes, please do.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank Mr. Jaffer for choosing
Thank
the topic at first, very exciting one, and for his classroom management. He was very democratic, and he tried to give us all the chance, and he tried to just encourage 50-50 learning, and he stresses what he is going to do in our mind, and he doesn't offer us more than what we can swallow. In fact, some people just gives you lots of notion, and at the end of the session you found yourself that you can't gather any one of it. But Mr. Gaber actually is like a professional, and he could overcome all this.
Right.
Thanks a lot for targeting the main idea of your presentation. Actually, you have done it quite successful.
Thank you.
You have been very well organized, and the implementation of your pair work is very effective, just like the title effectiveness of pair work.
Thank
You have done it effectively.
Thank you very much.
I have a reflection also.
Yes.
I appreciate Mr. Jabber's choice of Spanish as an example, because we are involved in such environment, and we need Spanish a lot.
We need
Yes, specialized Fridays, yes.
I really like Spanish because most of us really don't know Spanish, and to show the teachers such example using a language that they don't know, he is putting us in the same shoes of our students, and this is very important.
That's the idea.
You don't really appreciate whether an activity works or not unless you try it yourself in a similar context, and a similar context wouldn't be studying English. It could be German, it could be Spanish, it could be just any language that we don't know.
That's right.
And that's why it was a successful
It
project.
attracts the attention of the teacher.
Other than
and
the Fridays.
it gives more motivation. It's the same student.
Yeah, and also even the activity itself, there is information gap here in this activity, and teachers were trying to get the information written on dialogue and even to practice this. So I think the activity was a little bit successful because here teachers were listening for an objective, and they had in their minds that they should get this.
You want to say that I elicited the ideas, not give them to the teachers. So they think the ideas are theirs. They're their ideas. They have found out about them. Thank you. More comments?
How about some others?
I have again the same comment that I like the fact about choosing Spanish for the conversation.
Thank you.
How about some feedback on the processes? We're talking mostly about the choice of the subject and how appropriate it is, but in terms of the things that we're looking to
Set up, learning activities.
yeah, the setup,
the stages, the 5
aspects,
stages.
the 50-50, those types of things.
I think you paid attention to the 50-50 when we started discussing the value or the use of using pair work in our classrooms. And this actually covered not only the 50-50, you covered shared what was to be learned, objective and why, what is in it for me. We have discussed this. And we have also discussed its applicability in our context. So that's which convinced the teachers that this is a possible activity.
Thank you.
Discussion.
Thank you. Regarding the 5 steps, are there any remarks about the arrangement or how did I go through these things? Like first setup. What about the setup? Any comments about the setup?
Yes, I was a little bit confused at the beginning because you were not very clear from the beginning as in defining who we are and what you're doing. I was a little bit confused at the beginning, and especially being confused about this point, and then you started talking Spanish, so I wasn't really sure. Am I being a student now, or you are training me as because I'm a teacher?
In fact,
trainer?
I saw you confused, so I got confused.
It's two-way communication.
I just have a suggestion for you to come out of this, because when you started your presentation, identifying us first as teachers for teaching preparatory schools, and what created confusion is that you had another role for us, which is students in 4th year, so you're not preparatory, primary.
Yeah, 4, yeah, something like that.
But yeah, the suggestion is that if you first, before something as if it is out of the presentation, you would give us your teaching situation, the situation you're going to work in, which is separate from, on a sheet of paper or something, you can include information, this is the class, and where it is in the course, and so on. So we would very clearly know who are we now, and then when you start the actual presentation, it would be easier
it's
for us.
something separate, yes.
Yes, it would be easier for us to move from this role of a primary school teacher to a primary school student.
No, it doesn't mean that you're a primary school student learning Spanish. I tried to put you in the
that you want us to play inside. So it's just to make the separation between the two roles distinct enough so that we do not get confused. We don't feel that we have to play 2 roles and then before I get absorbed in the first one, I found myself playing another role.
All right. In fact, I have something to say to you, which is very important. Being the first one, it was very difficult for me because everyone is busy doing his own presentation. I have to say that. I have to admit. So I have to tell people, would you please pay attention? And I know it's a little bit offensive, or I want to finish my presentation. You are finished, but I want to finish. But I want to have your attention because at the end you're going to say something like this. You're going to say that you didn't take me in, or you didn't give me a clear instruction. So I'd like to advise you, when someone is starting, your colleague is starting a presentation, try to give him
eye contact.
That's right. He's making eye contact. Try not to be busy writing or preparing something else, because this will affect him. He will be confused, a little bit confused. He wants everybody to be in.
Let's agree on something. It will affect the presenter, whether it's him or her. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
The presenter. Yeah. Now they're saying the police person and the chairperson, not
right. Let's go to the second stage, learning activity. What about the learning activity and the sharing, the interpretation, and the conclusion, or the task, the application at the end? 5 steps. Any comments about the 5 steps?
Let's hear from Ron.
You have any comments from me?
Yeah, I can give you some.
Okay.
On the 5-step process, I thought you did it. I could see that you had really prepared yourself to do the 5 steps and to process this activity using them. I thought your setup was excellent, aside from the point that's already been brought up in terms of the beginning, just understanding what your roles were. But once you got into the role, there was a good explanation of what you were going to do, why you were going to teach this concept of pair work, why it would be important. So everybody knew what the situation was and what the lesson was going to be about. So I thought that was positive. You conducted the activity. Excellent. You had lots of feedback. You used great visuals. And for language, you used those visuals, which is great because it creates a picture in your mind. You can see it, you read it, you have the graphic, as well as having people practice and speak it. So the activity, I thought, was done well, and used a variety of methods to teach. Besides what you told them, you had them work across in groups, then you had them work individually in pairs, and you could show the demonstration at the end between what you do in a public pair versus what you do working in pairs. So I thought your activity went very well. The one area that I think I would recommend next time for improvement is the share and interpret reactions. The share and interpret reaction is really about the activity. It's the discovery part. And what happened is I didn't see quite as much discussion here. You need to develop that a little bit more because you really went to drawing conclusions. What is good about pair work? It's good because it saves time. It's good because, so we identified the conclusions, the concept, right. And so we sort of missed the reaction. Okay, when you were doing pair work, what happened? What do you see as different in doing pair work from other opportunities to do pair? Now you get people to tell you and expose those things to you based on the activity that you're in. And then but the sharing of concepts was excellent. People understood the value, what we really meant by it, why is it important to do pair work, those being clear. And then at the end you gave them an application saying develop a lesson plan now as a teacher, including pair work in it, and they were going to have 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, for them to do, which was a great activity. So I think you really did work through the 5 steps very well. I would just develop that 3rd step, which I would recommend. Very well organized, good use of visuals, 50-50, nice use of questions in terms of a mix of open and closed questions to get some involvement on this particular subject. I thought it was really well done.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you.
Nice job. And thank you for going first. That's always
Butterfly.
yes, exactly. It's always tough.